And we back, baby. Check this thing out right here. For those who've been on my channel and been following me, I appreciate you all. This is the update on the swap. This small block Chevy turbo swap. As you know, my old engine had a flat cam, and when we took it out and took it apart, it had more things wrong with it than that. But I got this new beautiful thing in here now. I want to thank the Wizard and his negotiator. I'm gonna call him the Wizard and negotiator because I'm not sure if they want to be identified on YouTube. So I got this bad boy in here. I'm super excited to have it in here. We back and running after 20 years. I got another engine in here, and it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. So this is gonna be the update. I'm gonna tell y'all what I went through to get this Mamma Jamma in here and some of the upgrades I done to it. And those who new to the channel, let me show you something. This thing right here, this shit right here, this is all eBay. This is the eBay turbo kit. Cause I'm trying to go fast with a little bit of cash. And eBay makes it possible. You know what? China makes it possible.
China.
So let me get to it. So I talked to the Wizard. He had this engine for sale. I went over there, checked it out, had it running on the engine stand. Those who've been on my channel have seen the engine running on the engine stand, but those who haven't, I'm gonna put a little clip in. So after seeing that bad boy running on the engine stand, I was like, you know what? I gotta have that one right there. That's the one I need to have right there. So I ended up getting it. I talked to the Wizard and his negotiator. His negotiator ain't no joke. Gave me a hard time. He's still giving me a hard time. But I love him, man. God put them two in my life for a reason. You know, good people, they hard to come by these days. But, I want to thank y'all personally. If y'all watch this video, man, I thank y'all from the bottom, top, middle of my heart. But got this engine, got this bad boy in here, and it runs good. I drove it all the way from Chino, California to Victorville, California. So that's at least about 70 miles or something like that, and we made it with no problem. So just to give you a heads up on this Mamma Jamma right here, I keep cycling so you can get a view. This right here is a 383rd. My old engine was a 350. Pulled that bad boy out. He had a 383 for sale. I purchased it, got it in here, and man, it was a hassle getting this thing in here. It wasn't hard to get it in. It's just that things kept going wrong. You know, life throw curveballs at you. Sometimes you either hit them or get out of the way. And we got it in here though, but everything that could have went wrong did. Okay, so we finally got my original engine out. I'm sorry I don't have a lot of video footage of it. I got a couple pictures. I think the only video footage I have of this engine and the process was when it was on the engine stand. I don't have any video of actually removing the original engine and putting this one in. Cause let me tell you about the Wizard, okay, and he's a negotiator. When you over there, it's crunch time. And when it's crunch time, you gotta work. If you holding anything in your hand besides a wrench, that throw you out on your ass. So I couldn't be holding no camera. I had to get to work. So, every now and then when they took a lunch break or, where looking, I'll pull my phone out, took a couple snapshots. So I got a couple snapshots, but I don't have no video, man. You know what I'm saying? I need to get this thing done. So we planned on doing it in 2 days. It ended up taking I think 4 days, 2 weekends. But those 4 days was like 10, 11 hour days, man. You know what I'm saying? We had to do some modifications to get this thing in here, and some upgrades, and as you can see, it looks different than that the original engine that was in here. So this is a 383. My other engine was a 350. This is the same exact turbo kit that was on the 350 that I bought off eBay, but there's a couple upgrades. If you look around, you see some little shiny parts. You see them shiny parts right there. I know you see that. I know you see that. I got a little bling on around. So that's the radiator support. I usually don't put shiny stuff on my engine, but you know, I was like, for the heck of it. And he had this engine. It looked good. He had, oh, you can't see it right now, but oh yeah, there you go. He had the chrome timing chain cover on there. He had a chrome water neck on there, but it was the wrong angle for my radiator hose, so I had to put the original back on. And then, you know, the valve covers and all that kind of stuff. So I ended up, let me get to the upgrade. Reason I have all this shiny stuff, I tested my alternator, my original alternator. It was putting out like 12.6 volts at idle, and that ain't good enough. And plus, I have some things, you know, the MSD, and I have another upgrade that's go drain amps from the battery. So I upgraded the alternator. This is a 150 amp alternator, chrome. You see that chrome right there? You might have to put some sunglasses on. It's kind of bright. So I got the alternator, and I didn't want to use my old brackets on a chrome alternator because they was black. So I bought the chrome brackets. You see that right there now, boy. And then, you know, I bought the chrome for the radiator support. So I got a 150 amp alternator. That was one of the upgrades I did to it. And if you look in there, you see that big gap. That's because I'm not running the direct fan anymore. I installed some electric fans. That's one reason I wanted to upgrade my alternator. So I went from the stock radiator to aluminum radiator. I went from the direct fan to electric fan. I'm gonna do a video later on how to wire up the electric fans with dual relays. I'm gonna show you how to get that done, you know what I'm saying? But the thing I wanted to show you the most, like the Wizard, man, that dude right there though, he pretty good. He opened my eyes to some things that I would have done myself if I knew to do it, but I didn't know. These cats, the Wizard and the Negotiator, they've been in the game a whole lot longer than I have, so they taught me some tricks. Now, when I first put this turbo on here, I did a video and I showed you how I did it and the steps I took and stuff like that. Well, those who see my turbo install video, the drain from the turbo, I tapped into the oil pan and ran the drain from the turbo back into the oil pan. But if you remember, I tapped it in the wrong spot. And when I went to put my starter back, it wouldn't go back because I tapped it in the location that the starter went. That's a true numbskull right there. So, thank God they make mini starters. I bought a mini starter and it fit, so saved me. But I could have saved myself all that time of tapping and putting it in the wrong spot and buying mini starters because the original starter wouldn't go back. Only if I would have known. Let me turn some light on. There we go there now. Why? I got the light on now, and as you see this, there we go. I got my hand in there. This black hose right, this is the drain, and that used to go back into the oil pan. But the Wizard was like, hey, why don't you just drain it back into where the your mechanical fuel pump go? If you run an electric fuel pump, you usually have a block off plate where the mechanical fuel pump go. So what that man did, did you see that right there now? Why? What he did, that drain, he tapped into the block off plate. He drilled into it, tapped into it, threaded it, put a fitting, and now the drain from the turbo just goes straight down into where the mechanical fuel pump go. And that's where the oil drain goes, instead of going back into the oil pan doing all that kind of stuff. That's what he did. And then I found out, if you don't have the tools to tap and thread and all that kind of stuff, Moroso sells a block off plate, and it has a fitting into it. And when I checked it, I think it was like $50 for that dang on thing. But the wizard was like, man, I can make one of those myself. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we do around here. You know what I'm saying? We make stuff ourselves. So he made that, and I was like, oh, man, that's cool, right? So another thing, I had the oil feed. Oil feed came from the top. If y'all remember, my oil feed went from the top, and it went, let me get over there, because and as you know, you got oil feed supply in the back of the block by the distributor. So remember, I ran it was like a 4-way. It was a fitting that was a 4-way, and I put it in there. It was made like a cross, and I had one side the oil feed, the other side this go to my my oil pressure gauge. And then one side was blocked off, and the other side, of course, threaded back into there. So it's kind of like a mess right here, you know. He was like, man, I ain't feeling that. I don't like it. I don't like it. So I was like, Wizard, what shall we do, Wizard? And he said, what we go do is, did you know there's an oil supply that you can get oil from by the oil filter? I was like, Mr. Wizard, I did not know that. And if you, oh man, I'm gonna try to get y'all a view. If you look, there we go. I could kind of get, let me pull this out. There we go. Alright, if you look down there, the oil feed line is going to that fitting that's on the oil filter housing. It's a fitting down there. If you remove that fitting, I had a plug in it, and that oil feed line, he put another fitting into where that plug was, and then he ran the oil feed line. I can't even talk, man. It's hot in the garage. If I show you my face, man, I'm dripping sweat. But he put the oil feed line into this fitting right here, and it eliminated all that rubbish I had up here where it's all lines and hoses going everywhere. So he did that for me. He did the oil drain over there for me. And I was like, man, all that could have saved me a whole lot of time and money. I didn't even have to buy that fitting and all that kind of stuff over there to hook it up right there. I could have just got one fitting, ran it down there. Over here, well, I showed you the drain. I spent $100 on another starter because I messed up and drilling, tapping, buying drill bits and all that kind of, you know, stuff. So that stuff that he did, that could have saved me a whole lot of time when I did it the first time. Another upgrade I did, if y'all seen my throttle linkage, my throttle link was horrible. I was dipping back in the day the way it was. If y'all seen that video, you know what I'm talking about. So he was like, man, oh, also I wasn't getting wide open throttle. He was like, man, this thing ain't even getting you wide open throttle. Change your throttle bracket. And I bought another cable because this clip right here had broken my original one. So I got a throttle bracket. It's the Holly style, but it ain't Holly because, like I said, I'm trying to save some money. This thing cost me $22. The cable cost me $20 at O'Reilly. I hooked all that up. I'm getting WOT now, and we in the house. You know what I'm saying? So alternator, radiator, that beautiful radiator support, throttle bracket, throttle cable, and you know, he reroute those lines so I can make things easier. And then some of the stuff that we ran into when we were putting this Mamma Jamma in, this exhaust manifold is made for straight plug heads. Well, I got aluminum dart heads. Now, I ain't had no aluminum dart heads on that original engine, boy, but I got some aluminum dart heads now, but they angle plug. So we had to do some modifications to get this turbo manifold that was made for straight plug onto angle plug heads. So that took some time, but we got it on there. And then we finally got the engine in the car, and when we fired up, dang on water pump started leaking. So we was like, why is the water pump leaking? Like, you ain't never had no problem with it, but it started leaking. So we was like, whatever, we gonna go for a spin. The Wizard and I jumped in the automobile and went for a spin. We was going up and down the street, doing a couple test passes, make sure everything is cool. And what do you know? The stupid, well, it ain't stupid. The one that was stupid was me. You know what I'm saying? But the shifter link was burned up because it was laying on top of the exhaust manifold, man. You know what I'm saying? No! And he was driving it. He told me, "All right, come on, it's your turn." I went to put it in gear, nothing. So he like, "What?" I'm like, "Man, I'm in drive, but we ain't moving." He like put it in park or whatever. So we've gone through nothing. So he's like, "Man, it's your car. Get up under there and move that shift, that selector with your hand." So I'm looking at it like, "What you mean, Whistle? What you mean get up under? I don't have no jack." He's like, "Dude, feel for it. You know where it's at." I was like, "Oh man." So I got hot exhaust, you know, from us test driving the car. The car is sitting all four wheels. I'm up under there with a rag on my forearm, reaching around for the selector. So I'm moving. I finally found that mamma jamma, and I'm moving it around. And eventually, I ended up getting it in, I think, second. And we drove home, and not home, but we drove back to the shop. We got it back to the shop. The negotiator was there, and you wondering what's going on. I'm like, "Man, this dude, his shifter cable broke." And the negotiator is like, "Man, go figure." And like I said, this was supposed to be a 2-day ordeal. It turned out to be 4 days. Like, these guys, man, they're amazing. I burned up my shifter cable because when I put the exhaust back on, I went, I no excuses, but I was tired, man. I wasn't paying attention. It was some long days. I put the exhaust manifold on, and the dang on shifter linkage was laying on top of the exhaust manifold, and it fried it. So the negotiator, he was like, "Look, man, I got one on my car. I'm trying to get you the hell out of here. So I'm going to take the one off my car. We go put it on your car." This dude took the shift linkage off his car, because they got some race cars over there too. And he put it on my car, man. It was like, "Dude, just, I'm going to give you mine, but you do got to replace it because I need it for my hoopty." And he gave me his shifter, man, off his car. And a lot of stuff that's on here was handed to me, man. Like this distributor. My distributor, it worked, but it ran down. He was like, "Dude, I got this new one over here. It's better than yours. You can get it." So he gave me the distributor. The wizard did some kind of, man, he opened it up and locked it out or whatever, I can't even think about what it is. Whatever, but
he did some wizard shit.
I'm super excited. Once again, I want to thank the wizard and negotiator for working with me and getting this bad boy in here. I got a torque converter. That was going to go in when we put the engine in, but it didn't get here quick enough. And, we were short on time, so we just put the engine in. We could put it in while the engine was out, but, it didn't work that way. And I feel like I'm forgetting something, man. But whatever. I don't want to hold y'all up too long, but this is the update. And this in here, you know what? I'm going to fire this thing up for y'all just so y'all can hear it real quick. I don't want to wake up the neighbors because, it's kind of late. But for the YouTubers, I'm going to do it for y'all because I just don't care. Check this out. All right, here we go, man. I'm going to fire this thing up just to show y'all this ain't no prop. It's fully functional. So here we go. I'm not going to let it run too long because the garage door is down and I ain't trying to die. Got my gauge. Oh, that's bad. Oh, y'all hear that? Oh man, it's cold. All right, here we go again. There we go. Real quick. I don't know if y'all can hear that. can't breathe. Mama about to die. So that was just a sample, just a quick sample. The bad boy, why? Tell you about the bad boy, why? All right, so turned it on. You see it? I just gotta break this thing in. I got about another 400 miles to put on it before I start getting into it, laying some rubber down. To be honest with you, when I do get this thing up and running, get that stall converter in, I'm trying to leave like this. What y'all think about that?
That's crazy as hell. That's what I think of that.
Bleep, bleep, that's all, folks.
This ain't over.